So imagine it's 1973, you're in East Timor, and you're a family of 3 children and 2 adults, and you have the option of waiting a week at a place filled with hippies, or you can walk overland along cliff sides where no white full family had ever been before. And then you just say, you know what, we're a pretty fit family, and then you're going to try and walk. Now that walk that they did from Dili to Batu Gade, well, that's where we're going today. Alright, so one of the most important bits of the story, one of the most important sort of turning points of the whole adventure was a walk where the Horne family was given the option of staying in Dili to wait for a barge that would take them to the border, or walking that distance to the border over the mountains. And what I'd known beforehand was over the cliff sides, and I guess that was just the picture in my mind. It was about a 5-hour drive to the end, stay overnight in Balibo, and then drive back the next day.
Yeah, back in '73, we started walking.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the road, probably somewhere near Timor, we got the lift. And the Portuguese army truck going to Lecacia.
When the road would have stopped, would you have? There would have still been a path.
We then would have just followed the path.
Okay.
And then eventually you're out of civilization.
I feel that in the film I might dedicate anywhere up to 30 minutes for this trip, this bit in the film. Never have I seen sort of huts and
like on Prime Beach.
On Prime Beach.
Yeah.
It's along the way. We're on the spot here now where one of the scenes in the film Balibo was filmed. It was done up in the movie to make it look like it's not as sort of run down as it is now. You know, you had an Australian director, Robert Connolly, here, and Oscar Isaac was in the film as well, and that was through here and through Timor. Yeah, really interesting. It's just a quick little stopover on our way to Balibo. So many different cultures have sort of come to Timor and called it their own, or tried to control it, and this changes the landscape of things. So you've got the Dutch houses which are around because they were here a long time ago. Then you have the Portuguese that have been here, which makes Christianity such a whole big culture here in Timor-Leste. Then as soon as the Portuguese left, the Indonesians came in, which was a whole nother time and period. And then once they left, now they've got their independence. So that changes a country. It changes it quite a lot.
Yeah, it's really thick. It's thick, quiet.
So you weren't having to machete your way through?
No, because we're following a path.
I remember this road as being walked up.
Yeah. Different now.
Yeah.
So we're now nearer the coast again. But you imagine in those days we're pretty much come off the mountains, which is where not long after we stopped. We're slowly walking down through the mountains. We then hit the village with the Mad Lady, and then we overnight there. The next morning get the canoe across, and then pretty much come across here.
Yeah, let's go have a look.
Yeah, it's a bit more like this.
Imagine being 8 and 9 and 11, and you find a big warehouse sort of thing like this, and it's filled with arms, like guns. And not knowing what to do. A lot of the places that you go to sometimes are burnt out or have bullet holes in the side, and because horrific things happen there, they don't change it. They don't update it. They just leave it the way it is. So Carsten, obviously it's quite run down now.
Yeah.
Back then, how would it have been?
So it was white.
It was completely white.
Stark white. This is where I said Andrew's legged me up. So you imagine the height here, like inquisitive kids.
So, well, that gives you an indication of your height.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
So if you couldn't see, you would have been this high?
Yeah.
That tall? Okay.
And so you imagine, I've legged up on here, look through here, and then I've seen a different site to the buggery graffiti there.
Yeah.
But just guns and things. But apparently the airflow works. It's designed for ammunition and whatever, keeping the flow.
The countryside changes quite a bit as well during the the areas, like it goes from red earth to in the mountains it's a lot more rainforesty, and then on the side it's like beautiful tropical beaches. Stunning.
That's why I said we weren't. Like, we remembered the really white sand. Just go to the beach.
There's a certain point once the Horns crossed a river where they think that the rest of the way they crossed and walked along the sandy beaches. So we've stopped at one of the beaches which we think is along the way, and this beach looks lovely. It's just locals and swimming and fishercrafts, boats. Sleep on the beach, where would you sort of set up? Just under a tree? It's just stunning around here, absolutely stunning.
Second half of the banana's okay though.
Oh, there are a bit of spiders on them as well. Powdery bananas. You guys are making me so excited about them. Okay, I see what you mean.
So this is the spot, see here, this is the restaurant where we stopped and we waited there the whole time.
Oh wow.
While Dad was there.
While Dad was there.
Hung around.
So that was like a whole day?
Yeah, hung around the beach. So we would have camped on the beach and we just sort of hung around there.
When I pictured it, I sort of pictured it obviously a lot busier around here.
There was probably only a chain across the road. But it's bureaucracy.
But you can't get across?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would it have been army that would have stopped you if you did try and get across?
Yeah, it would have been Portuguese army.
Saw some signs. I think we're in. I think we're here. In Balibo.
Kids will tell you different stories. This is the house. Bullet holes and everything through the holes.
So that's the house that
the 5 journalists.
The 5 journalists were killed in.
So they ran across. They were in Australia House, which is where they painted the Australian flag. And
yeah.
Then they ran across to that one with the Indonesian.
So we are staying a night here in Balibo, and it's an interesting place because it's got a history outside of. It's one of the places that I think people would be able to name from Timor-Leste outside of here. Especially Australians. It's the place where during the Indonesian invasion, 5 Australian journalists were killed, and it was made into a feature film. So it's a place that people know. It's really interesting because you can't really escape that history here. 250,000 Timorese were killed during the period of invasion, of Indonesian invasion, and so it's definitely something you can't escape. Now I'm overlooking at this view. It's just stunning. You've got the clouds in between the mountains, and the sun's coming up just over there. Oh, I love it. But we did a few walkthroughs yesterday through Balibo itself, and I realised something about East Timor in general. Because of the Indonesian invasion in 1975 and 1976, a lot of the places that there were massacres, a lot of the places that there were horrible things happening, the houses are just kept there and they're just sort of empty. And it's awful and it's eerie. But the interesting thing about that is because the Horne family came here 2 years before, everything that's here has sort of been preserved in that way. So what the Horne family would have seen is these houses, even though now they're 45 years older and they are empty or things have happened in them. That's what that's what the Horne family would have seen. They would have seen them, granted they would have seen them new, but that's the type of architecture. It's sort of just mummified everything around here just to keep it like it was when the Horne family was here. I'm making a film, and I'm not the only one who is going on this journey, and I don't think I've been documenting this journey to the best of my ability for the film itself. And what I mean by that is, the videos are fine. I can take videos till the cows come home, and that's for, I guess, to show audiences and people what I'm looking at. But my crew, my production designer, my DOP, my producer, are people that need to see these locations so that we can find places to film. I haven't been taking the right photography. So that's what I'm starting to do now. I'm going to take photos and photos, and these are not even just for any viewing pleasure. They are articles so that the crew in the film can have a better understanding of what's around here, and I needed to be doing this a while ago, so I'm continuing that, and I did that a lot yesterday, and I'll show you some now.